Well, an early morning police-involved shooting in the Newburgh neighborhood has turned deadly, and we now know the victim's identity. It is our top story here at 5. LMPD first responded to a woman injured in a shooting around 2 this morning on Ridgecrest Road. And when they arrived, officers were approached by a man with a handgun who police said refused to put it down. Instead, we are told 20-year-old Frank Aguilar continued toward those officers with the weapon raised, at which time an officer shot the man. Both the suspect and Aguilar were taken to U of L Hospital in critical condition. He died hours later. Metro Police say body cam footage will be released within 10 days per LMPD policy. Also new tonight, a student at Bullitt Central High School is recovering after being hit by a car. According to the Shepherdsville Police Department, the 16-year-old girl was hit in front of Roby Elementary this morning. Police say she was crossing the area that's near the 5-star on Kentucky Route 44 when she was hit. She was conscious at the scene. Good news there. The driver did stop trying to help the girl.
I think we should open the government the sooner the better.
Right here, new tonight, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul stopping by the Louisville company BAE Systems right down by the airport earlier today, sharing his thoughts about the government shutdown now 26 days long. Senate Republicans have consistently voted yes on the House-approved continuing resolution, but Democrats are holding the line, wanting some assurances about protecting health care costs.
This is more federal workers, including air traffic controllers, are missing paychecks. The impact is reaching Kentucky, and WHAS11's Conroy DeLuche has the latest. Conroy?
Well, the Senate has reconvened in Washington, but earlier 3 senators were in Louisville: Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell from Kentucky, and West Virginia's Shelley Moore Capito, a guest of McConnell's at the McConnell Center. Now, Capito and Paul say they want to reopen the government, but Democrats are voting no, focusing on the extension of subsidies that make health care more affordable. On October 1st, the government shut down.
I call it a misery march, a road to nowhere.
One coffee shop near Fort Knox says they lost 25% business almost overnight. Staff at Mammoth Cave National Park were sent home. Airports do remain open, but those keeping an eye on the skies are missing paychecks.
I'm flying today. I want my air traffic controller to be paid. I want him or her to pay attention.
This is a total disservice to everybody sitting in this room. And the vast amount of people that are now getting more and more individually impacted by this.
Republican Senators Rand Paul from Kentucky and Shelley Moore Capito from West Virginia put the blame for the shutdown stalemate on Democrats, a majority of members who have voted down the continuing resolution that would fund the government at current levels. Democratic Congressman Morgan McGarvey says their demands are simple.
We are showing up in Washington. We're saying we want to open the government and we want to lower the cost of people's health care.
McGarvey is pointing to subsidies set to expire under the Affordable Care Act. Tax credits, they say, make health care less expensive.
First of all, Donald Trump and the Republicans already made cuts to Medicaid services that are going to go into effect in January of 2027. Now they are raising the cost of people's health care.
Senator Paul believes the desired subsidies are too high, but he does want to address the cost of health care through a small bipartisan commission called by President Trump.
We all acknowledge that there's a problem with health insurance, but right now the problem with shutting the government down has become even bigger, if possible, than the health insurance problem.
The Kentucky Republican says he thinks lawmakers are closer to a shutdown solution, but workers are still sitting at home while others are working without a paycheck. The Senate did reconvene this afternoon, and the next vote on the budget will be the 13th in less than 1 month. Reporting, Conroy DeLuche, WHAS 11 on your side.
Conroy, thank you. Well, by the end of this week, November 1st, if there's no settlement to the government shutdown, federal food assistance programs will dry up, and a local organization says it saw the need to stock food pantries as thousands of Kentuckians may lose their food stamps.
The Joan Effect, a woman's movement in Louisville, is mobilizing to feed families affected by SNAP cuts. Now, the organization is launching a food drive to fill the shelves at the neighborhood house in the Portland neighborhood. The food pantry coordinator says that they are currently serving about 240 families a week and are expecting to see an influx of families in need next month.
Well, the coordinator told us that the pantry is also struggling to stock their shelves because of federal cuts to food assistance programs coming up. And the Joan Effect is calling on the community to donate food so food pantries can undertake this greater need before the holidays.
So it's just this trickle effect of if you cut at the federal level, you're going to see it in right here in the shelves of Neighborhood House.
And the Joan Effect is accepting donations at 1020 Brewery in Butchertown, November 8th, 15th, and 22nd from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. Boxes will also be set up there all November for those donations.
Right here in Louisville, the Salvation Army sounding the alarm as well as more families struggle to put food on the table at the moment. The organization just launched an emergency campaign called Feed Hope, Share Love, saying food requests have spiked to 3 to 5 times their normal levels in just the recent weeks. The group provides daily meals, a weekly food pantry, and a Kroger gift card for Angel Tree families. Donations can be made online at salvationarmylouisville.org or dropped off at their South Brook Street location here in Louisville, with every dollar going toward feeding local families hit hardest by the upcoming SNAP cuts. Meantime, SNAP isn't the only social program being impacted by the shutdown.
Yeah, another one set to lose funding Saturday is the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, or TANF. Now, Governor Andy Beshear says the Commonwealth hasn't received federal funding that covers basic needs and employment support for November. He says the state will cover those funds in November, but in December, he can't make the same promise. Nearly 16,000 families were supported by the program in 2024.
We kick off a new week. This is Halloween week with a rainy Monday, and I get a feeling it's going to be like that all week long. Connie, the most important day is going to be Friday.
Yeah. Now that's looking okay, right, Mel?
Yes, so we're getting it all out of the way so the trick-or-treaters have a dry night, Friday night. That's the good news. The bad news is much of the week, it's going to look like this. Cloudy skies, that was the case over the weekend, lingers for your Monday as well as we take that live look over the Louisville Metro from our Hughes and Coleman Shriners Children's Camera. Temperatures obviously staying very cool, lower 50s. We have not budged much throughout the entire day due to that thick cloud cover and the light shower activity we've had today. Wind speeds remain light coming in from the northeast, just around 3 miles per hour. But satellite and radar showing that moisture continuing to stream in from the south and southeast here. So we are on the northern edge of this system, which is why rainfall amounts have been on the lower end, especially the closer you are to the Ohio River. Slightly higher amounts closer to the Tennessee border over the last couple of days. Your hourly planner as we continue onward throughout this evening, expect temperatures in the 50s, cloudy skies, light showers, a couple of sprinkles, maybe even some patchy fog possible overnight as those wind speeds do remain light. But all in all, not a big change between our afternoon highs and our overnight lows here. Expect those lows tonight to dip down into the upper 40s and lower 50s. Once again, spotty shower, couple of sprinkles possible. And then for tomorrow, just warming into the upper 50s with once again, light spotty showers. Now, the heaviest rain of the week, that arrives on Wednesday. We'll talk more about that and our Halloween forecast coming up in a few minutes, guys.
We are covering the new developments in the ongoing redistricting debate for the state of Indiana.
Today, Governor Mike Braun announced that he is calling a special session to redraw Indiana's congressional boundaries. And today, Braun releasing this statement saying he's calling the session to protect Hoosiers from efforts in other states that seek to diminish their voice in Washington and ensure their representation in Congress is fair. Now, that announcement comes just days after Indiana Senate President Rod Bray announced he did not have the votes to pass redistricting. Braun previously said he did not want to call a special session until he was sure that lawmakers would back a new map.
But several state senators announcing over the weekend that they would support the push. Now Indiana Democrats are pushing back, saying Braun lied about redistricting from the beginning. Indiana Democrat Party Chair Karen Talion sent a statement saying in part, "What are Hoosiers supposed to think about this?" At best, Braun has been browbeaten, changed his mind, and finally kissed the ring of the man who would be king, end quote.
So what's next for Indiana? Well, the special session is set to begin November 3rd. Indiana law says the special session has to be completed within 30 business days or 40 calendar days, whichever of the two is shorter.
And if lawmakers are not able to get it done by that deadline, the governor can call for an additional special session. Indiana's congressional districts do not legally have to be contiguous, meaning the areas redrawn don't actually have to be touching every boundary line. Of course, this all comes amid a major push from Washington to redistrict, with the Vice President J.D. Vance visiting Indiana twice to make his feelings known about it.
But Indiana isn't the only state that's feeling that pressure. Texas, North Carolina, and Missouri have all already adopted new congressional maps meant to give Republicans more seats. In response, California has proposed drawing a new map, though it will need to get rid of its nonpartisan redistricting commission to do so.
Ohio, Kansas, Nebraska, Louisiana, and Florida are all Republican-controlled states considering redrawing their maps. Democrat-controlled Illinois, New York, Virginia, and Maryland are all considering their own partisan redistricting pushes at the moment.
Well, in Louisville, police are looking for the person on your screen. Well, actually Shively, because according to Shively police, this person is a suspect from a hit and run there. Police say it happened last Tuesday on 7th Street Road near Crumbs Lane. A bicyclist was left with serious injuries. The driver left the scene after hitting that person. Anyone with information is asked to call the Shively Police anonymous tip line. The number's on your screen there, 502-930-2SPD.
Heading out to Shelby County now. If you live there, a warning from the Shelby County Sheriff. The Sheriff's Office says people are impersonating deputies in a recent phone scam. The Shelby County Sheriff's Office posting on Facebook Saturday saying scammers are spoofing the Sheriff's Office number and demanding money from people. That means the call will show up as the Sheriff's Office on your caller ID. The office says it will never call to request or demand money from you, and to hang up immediately if you receive a call like that from the Shelby County Sheriff's Department.
Coming up, a major hurricane impacting Jamaica, turning deadly over the weekend. We are tracking Melissa when we come back.
And here's a check of today's Kentucky Lottery jackpots. Mega Millions, $714 million. Powerball, $358 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, funding education for over 1 million Kentucky students.